It's 7:30. Good morning, I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. An announcement by the Catholic Schools Office will see 2 new high schools built in the Hunter. In addition to a school at Chisholm, a campus will also be built at Medowie, which is raising concerns the state government may ignore pleas for a public high school in the area. Catholic Schools Director Ray Collins says the school won't be prohibitive to students, with fees and other enrolment conditions to mirror current arrangements in the diocese.
Certainly Catholic schools from the time they were set up in this diocese over 150 years ago have always provided for Catholic families, but for other families as well from other religions, and that's currently the practice in all of our schools.
Meanwhile, there are concerns the extra school at Medowie won't meet the future demands of all residents. Port Stephens MP Kate Washington says it's imperative families are given choices beyond independent and Catholic schools.
What we are missing in the equation is public secondary schooling in Port Stephens and accessible schooling. This decision just does not get the state government off the hook from delivering and ensuring that there is adequate access to public secondary schooling.
Newcastle residents opposing the truncation of the city's rail line say a court decision on the future of the project will have impacts beyond the Hunter. The state government is appealing against a ruling made by the Supreme Court last year, which found it didn't have the authority to cut the rail line at Wickham. The 2-day hearing starts in Sydney today, with members of the Save Our Rail group heading down to hear the legal debate. The group believes if the government is successful, it could pave the way for similar decisions elsewhere in New South Wales. A large oil spill at a Rutherford lagoon will continue to be cleaned up today. An oily substance entered the lagoon near Stony Creek yesterday morning, the second spill detected in the waterway in the past 12 months. The Environment Protection Authority is continuing to investigate the source and has put businesses on notice in the local industrial estate to clean up their act. Residents are being invited to comment on proposed changes at a number of key intersections at Lambton. The changes are designed to improve road safety after 42 crashes occurred on Crowder Street between Turner and Deviter Streets over the past 5 years. Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter, Scott McDonald, says a number of right turns and through movements would be removed from various intersections.
We're aware this is an important intersection up there for the local residents, not just the commuters, and it will, if there are changes, it will impact the local community. So the RMS are calling for input, and if people do want to have their say, they can go to www.rms.newsouthwales.gov.au.
And a new campaign's being launched today to help get Dungog residents back on their feet following the April superstorm. 3 new social workers are starting in the town as part of Project Bounce Forward, which has been funded by the state government and NIB.
Sport, thanks to our sponsor, Warners Bay Sports Club.
The Newcastle Knights are promising to wear their hearts on their sleeves as they fight for just their second win in 12 games ahead of Saturday's showdown with the Titans. Jeremy Smith is set to rejoin the starting side on the back of his last-minute switch to the bench for last round's loss to Canberra, while Beau Scott returns from suspension. Coach Rick Stone says they'll have to give their all.
As a team, we've shown some good signs in the last 2 weeks, but we haven't been consistent enough, particularly with our starts. Obviously, that's something we've got to address.
Maitland's Isaac Heaney has put on a show for Sydney Swans selectors, playing a starring role in the reserve's 30-point weekend win over Brisbane in the NEAFL. It proved a stellar return for the injured teen, racking up an incredible 29 disposals, 5 marks and 8 tackles in his midfield comeback. And there's been some good news for embattled Maitland Magpies keeper Matt Stonham, doctors confirming they're confident they can remove a small tumour lodged in his brain. That's sport. I'm Belinda De Lasheras.
2 NURFM News Time 26 to 8.